think the best thing I ever did was say this dream out loud to the people who care about me the most. And when you're stuck, you raise your hand.
Having someone that can be there with you to navigate that without any sort of judgment.
I'm Michelle.
And I'm Whitney. This is the Use Your Fear podcast.
No.
No, I know.
Bless your heart.
All right. Welcome back to the Use Your Fear podcast. My name is Whitney.
And I'm Michelle.
And today we are going to be talking about when your body says stop. This is Chris's story of a health scare and his healing progress. But before we get into that, Michelle, can you please tell me, what is your high, low in Buffalo?
Recently, my high has been, I got some good test results back.
Oh,
so
do you want to share with the class or no?
Well, it's kind of like a mixture into the high low too. I had my cortisol tested. However, because of being so sick the week before and my body recovering, it was like my body was disassociating when it was normally in fight or flight mode. So in my head, I was like, oh, I am doing so much better. My fight or flight is so just totally almost cured, right? Because I'm tired of living like this. And no, today I had full on fight or flight. And I was like, oh yeah, my body is normalizing now after being very, very sick.
Damn it.
And so, yeah, so that's kind of like my high, low, and my Buffalo all wrapped up into one. How about you, Whitney?
All right. Well, I would say my high has been remodeling the dining hall at my school. I have gone hyper independent and I'm bashing stuff apart from that's welded onto other pieces and just tearing it apart and manhandling heavy furniture, and it's looking amazing and I'm very excited about the final outcome from it. My low, I would say, is that I have not had great communication with my GI doctor. I did give a really snarky, catty comment back about, should I just continue talking to my PCP and not you because you haven't given me any information? And she called me like 2 days later, she called me. But I see my PCP on Monday, so tomorrow. So that's my low. It's just doctor stuff. And then my Buffalo is, it's not great Buffalo, but it's all the damn technical issues I had yesterday. I was having horrible technical issues all weekend, which is why episode 4 was late to get posted. I had to go and get a new external hard drive. And then I was up until 11, which is really late for me, if you guys don't know. I may have drank a Monster at like 2 o'clock to help keep me up. But it's out now, so we're good. We're back on track, and I will get ahead of the game now that I have more things in place and shouldn't have technical issues. So
we both had technical issues. I had to fix a glitch between Instagram and Facebook for 4 hours. So
womp womp. But we have a wonderful guest here. His name is Chris. So Chris and I have met through work, and we've known each other now for around 4 years. And we're going to be talking with him about a scary situation that happened earlier this school year. Chris, welcome. You want to give us a little elevator speech on who you are and what you do?
Hello. Avid listener and now watcher of this podcast. Anyway, I'm a 58-year-old man with been married for 31 years to my wonderful wife, Kimberly. I've got 3 wonderful kids, 27, 28, and 31. And I have a grandson, and he's 3, and I have a granddaughter that is 10. So I'm a busy guy. And
my son has I was going to say my son has made him his best friend too.
Oh,
Aw.
yes.
So,
Where would
Mhm.
life be without him? He's always my helper when he comes to work, which is awesome. Uh, so yeah, that's pretty much it. I've been in the restaurant catering business since 1989. Recently moved to San Marcos, I guess. Well, not recently. It's been 5 years now.
yeah, that's not
So
recent.
no, not really recent. Although I've been coming down here for years for the festivals, ACL, South by Southwest. So uh, kids flew the coop and it was too quiet. So we thought, well, let's just move down south. So here we are, the hill country. And that's it. That's on me.
I love it.
That's it. Yeah.
And it's a great hiking scene. I know you do a lot of hiking.
Oh, yeah.
so-
The hiking is, I'm not too far from the Purgatory Creek, upper and lower. So that's my home, away from home for a lot of days, especially when days aren't going so great. It's the best therapy, as they say, outdoors. You need that. So, and I've stopped hiking with the headphones just so I can hear and get that silence almost from the
Mhm.
hiking. So,
I was going to say, be careful. Apparently, there was a mountain lion in Zilker Park recently, and they found a half-eaten dog on one of the trails.
oh, well,
So, yeah,
I
so
don't go
just
there
make
very
sure, you know,
often.
you go loaded.
Use your fear, Chris. Use your fear.
Use your Well, they've had several
Yeah.
attacks of foxes have been attacking people, or did at one time, like 4 or 5 people at on part of the trail that I frequent very often. But yeah,
Really?
yeah, they got rabies.
Keep bear spray on you, maybe.
Oh, there you go.
Perhaps there you go.
Right? Yeah. So, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
We are going to talk about a day that was really hard. You were at work, you had an incident and had a medical emergency. So,
Yep.
can you walk us through what happened? How are you feeling beforehand? I think we just come back from spring break.
Yeah, that was what was so odd about the whole thing, is that I had just come back from a 7-day cruise, and it was a great time. It was, ordered everything from your app. It came right to you wherever you were on the ship, which was good and bad sometimes. But yeah, and so then I get back to work for 2 days, well, a day and a half really. But on the way home Sunday, I just kind of felt like I was getting allergies were kind of hitting me back, getting back to Texas and getting closer to home. And so Monday rolls around, still feeling like the allergy kind of symptoms are going on. I go into work, same old, do the same routine, work out. I worked out every day, for the most part prior to the cruise and during the cruise. So you're thinking you're just in all this good health. So it can't be. It has to be, an allergy, or maybe I'm getting sick. Do I have COVID? So Tuesday rolls around. My wife finally convinced me to take some allergy medication, which I really hate doing because it makes me feel worse than really the allergies themselves for me. So I did, and I get to work, the same routine. And I guess it was lunchtime, about 1:15. I sit down for lunch, my bagel and cream cheese. And about 15 minutes into it, I just started kind of getting very lightheaded and getting numb, tingly feeling in my fingers. And so I get up and I think, I've got too much to do, I got ordering to do. I've got Labatt to put in. I've got Hardee's to put in, and I don't have time for this, so I get up and
Walk it off.
yeah, walk it off.
Right.
Walk it off. Just go to the office, sit down, drink your water, have another Red Bull,
Right.
which we can get into that later. But so, and just the next thing I knew, I got on the phone. I called my wife. I said, I think you need to come get me. I'm not going to be able to drive home. Something's really something's happening. I don't know what it is. Like by the time I hung up the phone and hit end, I was in a wheelchair from the nurse at school. They were popping an aspirin in me. And so flash forward, the ambulance is coming to get me. I'm being wheeled out, and there is apparently a board meeting happening right outside the door.
Of course there is.
right outside the door, which I'm being escorted out of to get me. Yeah. Hey, and all the while I tell them, I said, don't, when they tried to get me in the wheelchair in the office, I said, don't move me, because if you move me, I'm going to get sick. His vertigo was coming on. The numbness was just completely taking me over. And they moved me, and I just started projectile. It was just all over me, and it just continued all the way. In fact, I think it took them a few moments to stabilize me to get me into the ambulance, and then again it took them time to stabilize me in the ambulance, and then so yeah, that happened, and I'm thinking I still don't have a clue as to what's happening. It only took until I kind of, I guess, came to that they're telling me that you had what is really a mini stroke, and it just didn't sink into me that that's what had happened. I'm thinking maybe blood sugar or some sort of, do I have diabetes? And, I'm just crashing or something. But to hear that and to be so out of it, and for them to give me all these tests, and I was basically numb or paralyzed, it seemed, on the left-hand side of my body, because everything on the right side was working. I could pick my hand up, my arm, I can, whatnot, and do something. They have you rub your heel against the other leg, and I felt all that on the left side. So, I ended up having to stay overnight. But prior to the nurses were in there, taking care of me and whatnot, and they were asking me all these questions. And they asked me, one of them was, what is today? And I told them, what is your birthday? And I told them, and they said, so you're 58. I said, no. Was it 56 or 57? I kept arguing with them. They said, no, you're this age. I'm like, no, it took, and then my
Don't
wife
make me
sat there.
older.
Yeah. And then my wife sat there and she goes, hold on. So she whipped out her phone and she goes, you're right. You're 58. I said, oh my gosh, and I felt embarrassed that I'm arguing with the people that it's right there on the board, so yeah.
This is why I'm a chef. I don't do math.
Thank you.
I need math to be a chef.
Yes. Estimates. I love those. But so I was scared my family, and of course my wife is out in the waiting room, and she's hearing stroke, heart attack in bay 3, and she sees that I'm in bay 3, and then she really kind of has a conniption on that. But so I stayed overnight for observation. They finally got me stabilized, and overnight for observation. So the next morning I had a sonogram of my heart, a CAT scan. So yeah, then I was on medical leave for about, I guess, 3 weeks or so. I can't really remember. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's something I never would have thought, because I know I'm 58 years old, but I know I certainly don't act 58. Right. As my wife would say.
No.
As my wife would say, she's the mother of 4, which is very, very true. But physically, I don't feel that I could have had anything like that happen. I mean, give me high blood pressure, or give me, something like that, or type 2 diabetes, which I was years ago diagnosed with that, but with exercise and diet, which has helped curtail that away for years now. So anyhow, so it's just something you just don't expect from someone who's active. An average day for me is probably 20 to 25,000 steps. Some days on those long catering Saturdays, I think I did 28 or maybe 30,000 steps, in a 15, 17-hour shift. But anyway.
No, I used to try to beat Whitney in steps and she would beat me every time, because
yeah,
you guys are doing like 10,000, 20,000 steps in a day. Like, that's just.
I think I averaged between 12 to 16 a day during that time.
Yeah.
If I don't work out at home, which I will close all my rings while at work.
Yes. Mhm.
It's insane.
Those are my favorite kind of days.
Yes, right?
You're like, just gonna go home and chill now.
Yeah. I can have that cup of ice cream now.
There you go. There you go. I deserve it. Man, that sounds like an absolute roller coaster. When you I'm sorry if I missed this, but you
No.
said that were you completely out of it when you were getting wheeled into the ambulance? You had
Oh
no
yeah.
idea, like, okay.
I
You weren't,
saw,
like, conscious.
it was like half and half, in and out. I saw things, I heard things, I didn't know where it was coming from, you know? And you're like, what is really happening? I just could
Yeah.
not comprehend that this is what it was all about, you know? Like, is this going to end right now? Is it going to, is the stroke going to lead to the heart attack on the way to the hospital, or while they're, whatever's going to happen at the hospital? So, yeah, it kind of really, slap in the face, more or less.
No, that makes sense. I'm I've gone through my own set of emergencies. So I go from the, I don't have time for that, like you were mentioning before, like, I still have to do this, this, and this, and this. When
Gotta get these orders in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When do you feel like your mind, like you actually shifted it back to yourself? Like for me, it takes like a day. Like, I don't know if it was that like in the ambulance. Do you think it was in the hospital? Do you think it was maybe the day later when you could finally let all that go?
Oh no, I'm still,
Yes, that's real. That's real.
I don't think, I mean, you don't want to live, okay, it happened, get on with it, go forward. But, there's a lot of residuals to it, even with it being just a mini stroke,
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, there's tough days. But until I get to a neurologist, I won't really know, I think, how bad it might be. But,
Hopefully they'll get you in soon.
September, and I'm hoping for a call beforehand, because I said, please call if so.
It's so long.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's going to my neurologist.
That was the worst part about the whole damn thing, is to be real, on leave, and then you're given a deadline as to when all this paperwork should be turned in.
Yeah.
But you have no primary care doctor because your doctor left San Marcos and took off back to Denver, And so that I couldn't find a primary care. I couldn't find a heart doctor. I couldn't find a neurologist. I mean, other than yours. And so I tried even finding others, and they were even later dates of appointments. So, I just have to keep it and hope for a cancellation from someone. But, finally found a cardiologist in Austin, which, that's an hour and some odd drive, because it's on the north side, which is fine. It gets me into Austin, which, for some reason, driving, even getting closer and closer to Austin, I get like a calming,
Yeah.
There's a quote that Willie Nelson has about getting close to Austin. Like, you basically there's an ease that comes over, more or less. I don't know.
So you're channeling your inner Willie.
But yeah, Willie and I, we have similarities. The one thing that has affected me, I think, is the forgetfulness. It went away for a bit, and now it's, I'm involved in. So if it happens during this, which I think it happens when I get nervous, maybe, or something, but I just forget I completely forget what I'm talking about. And
I think that happens when you and I are near each other, but it also happens.
It's Whitney's fault.
Well, no, I think it's an ADHD thing. I think that when we all get together, we go off on weird tangents and then we forget things.
oh yeah,
So
and you'll come in and we'll sit in the office, and literally it's like watching what's the old Pong game where you take the little and the thing bounces. That's what it is, man. And then we finally, 5 minutes later, we come back to the original topic of conversation, which might have been work. I don't know. But it usually starts off work, and it ends up being, I'm getting a new tattoo this weekend. So, yeah. I'm dying to
Starting
get
a
more.
podcast.
Yeah, starting. Yeah, and when she told me, starting a podcast, we're going to do this. Told me the name. I'm like, that is really badass. Very cool. Very cool. But it's so Whitney to go from one thing to the other with 100%. So
Yeah, that's not you. That's totally all her, because I mean, she goes on a ride and you're just like, and you
You guys are here
holding
for
on for
it.
dear
You're
life.
along. Yes, absolutely.
I love that it's your guest this week, because usually I'm on the hot seat getting picked on. So this is like really nice right now.
So one thing from this situation that I just wanted to bring up, because I can't not have a joke when things get tough, is I'm texting with Chris's wife Kim, and she texts me, it was a mini stroke, TIA, something else, and I'm like, why did she just text me thanks in advance? And then it wasn't until later I realized that was the acronym for the stroke.
I would have thought the same thing.
So when I went to visit Chris at the hospital, I told his wife and his daughter who were there, I told them that story, and they both just started crying, laughing. So I was like, yeah, I'm an idiot. My bad.
I would have chat GBT'd that. Like, am I missing something?
I Googled it afterwards. I Googled it before I responded. I'm like, what is TIA? Like, it's got to be something else. Yeah. She wouldn't say thanks in advance. Like, my husband had a stroke. Thanks in advance.
Thanks in advance. See you soon.
Chris, with all the medical stuff is complicated and it's a pain in the ass. We can all attest to that. It opens Pandora's box, if you will. In the meantime, you were looking for doctors. So when you were going through this, when you got back home, you got to be on leave, like, what were if you want to share your ongoing symptoms that you've had since then?
2 weeks were probably wasted because I hit rock bottom mentally, depression, really worried about my kitchen while I was gone. Not my kitchen, more or less, but just what was going to happen, what kind of, just worry and just, it took, I didn't answer phone calls. I didn't answer texts, finally, which were 2 weeks wasted of trying to find doctors and not really realize exactly the depth of what really happened. I was trying to process all that, and residual is, I had to come home 3 times this week from work because something was going on. So I took my blood pressure, and it was, almost at that point where it's not good, so I had to chill and just, relax. Okay, I'm feeling like this. Does it mean something's about to happen?
Yeah, you become hyper vigilant about
very hyper vigilant of any feeling I start to get, which before this I never did. I mean, part of my problem with not having a primary care is because I never went to the doctor.
Right.
I mean,
I wonder who that sounds like.
I just, because I don't have the time for it. I never put myself first. I put my job first because it's not.
Oh my God,
just...
are y'all twins? Y'all are twins right now.
Yeah.
The list matters. All the things on the list matter. You can handle your stuff later, right? Like that's fine. But right now you can focus on the person or the thing in front of you and knock that out so you can stop hanging on to it. You can do your stuff later. I'm
really good at consoling people, but yet I don't ever take my own advice. It's damaging sometimes, for those who can just have a stroke or have whatever it is they're going to have and say, okay, whatever, I'll get on with it. But when you think you're doing the right things to prevent those kind of things from happening, do I just sit around and just start eating again and not doing what I love to do? Or, because I pass purgatory every day, and every day I'm like, fuck, this is going to be another day I don't get to go hiking because of this, work more or less. So I'm really struggling with trying to find the time to do stuff for myself.
Yeah.
So, that's why I get up at 4:30 in the morning to work out for an hour and then try to get to work by 6:30. And,
Be careful with
it's
that.
been like here lately in the last month, it's gotten worse to where I'll just get up and work out. It's 3 o'clock in the morning,
Mhm.
or just the other morning I got up to work out and I got my journal. I thought, okay, I'm going to do 10 minutes of journaling, that ended up being 40 minutes. And I was like, okay, I have time to do one workout. But, at least, and they say anytime for your time, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, it is good. Every day is a struggle. Growing up, I would sit at the breakfast table and there was a quote on one of the shelves in the kitchen, and it said, "Today is the first day for the rest of your life." And I would just sit there going, "That is stupid." I mean, what does that even mean? I don't care. And then only as I got older in life, you get married, you have kids, and then it came across one day, and I thought, I know what that means. It's just to live today as today is.
Have you seen patterns like in the past, or maybe something that has happened to you in the past that like reminds you of the mental gymnastics that you're doing? Like, I'll give an example. Like, well, I didn't realize, like, when I went through my mental health stuff, you really internalize yourself. I was being very, very unkind to myself, and not just for that week, for a long time.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that's where a lot of my personal opinion, mental health stems from, is that inner voice. And have you always struggled with that? Do you struggle with that? Am I on the right track there? What is that?
Yeah, certain things will kind of set off to have you go back to that cave, that dark box. Just recently, when my father passed away 2 years ago, and I went to a birthday party for my stepmother. And unbeknownst to me, she's like, "Well, here, you need to follow us. We're going to go to the house that she just recently sold that her and my father lived in." I was like, "Oh, what did she have for me? I didn't know anything about this." So we go over and she has this box for me. It's this huge box. It's kind of heavy. I don't go through it. I get it home and then I start to go through it. And like, just you think some of those things that were in there would bring back
Memories.
Yeah, good, but it didn't.
It's interesting how your memories can adjust as an adult versus a child. You think about them one way, and then you can see your dad shoehorn and rethink of something, and all of a sudden you look at it in a different way, and you're like, oh, I don't know if I would have handled it that way. Or
and it's weird to see old photos, and you're like, was I a good kid at that time? Was I being an asshole? Because I was a troubled teen from 13 on. Once my mother passed, it was just, it was all downhill from there until I was ninth grade and finally realized I can't do what I've been doing. Some days I'm very, it's easy to bypass, and others it's just not. And you just, but now I'm learning to at least tell my significant other and my kids that, hey, look, I'm just having, and before I would just drop, and it was silence. And that's because that's what I dealt with as a kid, you just didn't talk. We were pissed. We didn't say shit. If you're going to get a whipping, you're going to meet me in the garage and I'm going to whoop your ass with this beaded belt, yeah. Anyway, it was, anyhow.
Don't pay attention to that part, Whitney.
Yeah.
I was like, oh.
Back then, growing up, they didn't know what, all these troubled kids, they were probably all ADHD or dyslexic or all these other things on the spectrum, but no one took the time to figure that out because no one gave a shit. It's just, you're troubled, you go over here, so.
And you don't talk about it because then it looks bad on the family.
But yeah, music's a good therapy, hiking, doing stuff for yourself, which this weekend has been a weekend of doing stuff for me.
I
So,
love that we didn't even ask you how do you cope with it, and you're already trying to turn the story into this is how I'm coping with it. Like, let's
yeah,
talk
Mhm.
about
yeah.
that.
There's I associate pretty much every part of my life with music. You know, this song goes to this time.
Yeah.
This is what I need. Disintegration from beginning to end is the best. It almost gets you out of depression, but it's such a, I think that was his heartbreak album. Music has always been able to, well, sometimes it gets me out of the funk, but sometimes when I'm so depressed, music is not anything I want to hear. I don't want to hear anything, you know?
Yeah.
And that's when I know I'm getting to that point, is when the songs that bring the joy also bring the pain.
It's a good way to look at it. I mean, Michelle and I definitely had our dashboard confessional days of, heartache and driving around crying,
Screaming.
screaming, singing to Chris Carrabba.
You said music has always helped. And, back then no one had the language, is what I'm hearing from you, which is kind of like a common theme that I've been hearing from other people. So it's like music almost gives you that language to feel the feelings and to get them out.
That is, oh, wow. Yeah, that's dead on.
You said you are currently in therapy, right? So is that new? Have you done therapy before?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's taken this long to find the three. Ooh, I have three therapists. I just thought about that. One of which, well, no, I've been through therapy throughout my life. I've had one gentleman that was very useful until he passed, but it wasn't up until 2022 that I really needed, first off, couples therapy because of myself putting us in that situation, which never thought would ever happen, but did. And then from that led to her referring me to another therapist who I see, which I have not seen in like a month. And I think it shows, and yes, therapy. Without it, I don't know if I would even be sitting here right now. And I don't mean that in a death kind of way. I just mean in a who knows where I would be kind of way.
Yeah.
Only recently, since 2022, have I felt, which is doing this process has brought out a whole bunch of stuff.
That's what I was about to ask, actually. And then you're like, oh, I don't want to talk about it. I hear it in your voice. I'm really trying to, because I know our listeners, like some have had health scares, or maybe some have people in their life who have health scares, and they don't understand like the gravity of it. I don't think anybody does until they go through something like that. Like whatever you can share, whatever you're comfortable with sharing in your gut. And I know you're going through it right now. You're still in the midst of it. You still have unanswered questions. Like, what can you share as far as like maybe your perspective now, looking back at your health, either from this incident or just overall? Like, how are you approaching that?
You and I spoke about, like, before your incident, the amount of, what was it, the IV, the hydration, liquid IV that you were putting in your drinks and things like that, and realizing on that side what you were doing without even thinking about it.
Oh, yeah.
In kitchens, it's hot, it's sweaty, we walk a lot.
So I was just trying to go through my mind, like, what caused this? Did I do something to cause this? Working out I don't think was the issue, because everything I'm reading now, this is what you need to do to curtail heart disease, is to, and work out, which, I do plenty of that. So I thought, okay, what am I eating? What am I drinking? What am I doing? That way. Okay, here's my breakfast, which was always a plant-based protein shake. Then I would have a liquid IV, and I would put that in my Yeti. And then, actually, let me back up. I would have a Red Bull or a Celsius first. Then
Peach
go work out.
vibes.
Do what? Yes, peach vibes.
The peach vibes.
Yeah, it's vibing. It's vibing. So the peach vibe, workout, shake, the liquid IV, and I thought, okay, let me add up everything. And the liquid IV, I think itself is 1,500 milligrams of sodium. Then I would get to work, and either I would have picked up a 4-pack of Red Bull, or a lady I work with was supplying them with me. She was my supplier.
And he gave me a 12-pack of Monsters for my birthday.
You're a good man to have around, sir.
I'm a pretty nice guy. So then I would have a Red Bull. Well, coffee, of course. Always stop at my little coffee shop, get a large coffee, black. Go to work.
Like my soul.
Like your soul.
Yeah. Yes. And
like that every time.
well, actually, you kind of had me on those vanilla lattes, which I never had before until you had asked for one. And so I have one of those every once in a while if I want the calories. So anyway, I added everything up, and I'm like, well, shit, that's why I'm having a heart attack, because I would get to work and I would drink all the coffee, probably 6 cups, and then I was having, like, right at lunch service. So at 11 o'clock, 10:45, 11 o'clock, I was having a Red Bull. 2 o'clock, I was having another one.
How are you sleeping is what I want to know.
That was my next
With all that caffeine.
Tonight, I'm like, no, it's not going to affect me. That's because
ADHD.
that's because I have good sleep meds as well. So, but yeah, I'm, so with the incident, they put me on lisinopril for the blood pressure, and then I'm on rovastatin for cholesterol, and then multiple other medications to get me through the day. I've been taking off the Vyvanse because I had my appointment with my psychiatrist to get all my, renew those meds.
We are all a pharmacy here.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm doing that Wednesday.
Monday.
So she had asked what's been going on, and I told her, and so she's like, I need your your cardiologist and the neurologist to pass on you being back on the Vyvanse, which I cannot seem to get organized, even with a to-do list that I do through Chat GPT, which is my best friend.
Yes.
Chad.
Same.
Real.
Yeah.
Thank you, and please. So when the AI takes over,
They know that we
I'll
were
be
kind.
okay. Yeah, exactly. They'll be like, "Oh, we like them; they can stay." We feel you on or I know somebody feels you on the organization.
I feel you on all levels. I'm pretty sure we're like the same person.
The same. Yes.
I also want to touch on what people don't talk about when you are messing with meds. That takes a while for your body to get used to, your brain chemistry. I call it your cocktail, right?
Yes.
Medicine does. It's not like popping in a Tylenol or an aspirin and boom, your headache goes away in 20 minutes and you can go about your day. There are side effects from the medicine, plus the medicine doesn't work quite like it's supposed to. It takes time. Can you take us through those 3 weeks of what are you going through mentally? You're still, you can't go anywhere. You can't, go for your walk, which helps your mental health, but because you're too afraid to, because of what's going on with my body. I don't know. You're taking all these new meds. You probably, I don't know, like, how do you feel about like what happened? Do you feel like you let people down? Like what was those like 3 weeks at home like exactly?
Just very isolated, that's how I felt. How close am I to this happening again? That's just what kept replaying in my head. So I was very slow to move about, and I couldn't eat, even though you're supposed to eat. I had no appetite. It was just really kind of dark and not a fun place to be. And you're supposed to be thankful that you're even still here on the planet,
Right. Be grateful.
You got to be grateful, but yet you're not. And then you start thinking, man, am I going to miss my daughter's wedding in 2 years because she wants to have a long engagement, which is great because we can save and
you're planning a wedding on top of that.
Yeah. And so, just death, what are they going to find? You know, I had to wear a heart monitor, which I really wish they would have put the heart monitor on me while I was at work rather than being at home doing nothing. That would have been, actually, I think I wore it for a day or two at work, trying to think anything positive, which was the positive part of it was seeing my grandson at the end of it all, you know, and I want to really be here for him. So here's what I have to do.
Yeah, that coming back, because you want to bounce back, right? You don't want to let anybody down. You want to keep, you know, pushing forward and come back stronger than ever, right?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I was sitting around for 3 weeks. I should be fine now. Plus, I was on vacation right before that, so
Yeah.
like I should be tip top shape. Like, what's the big
Yeah.
deal? Like, so the mental gymnastics that does, and when you realize, like, when you try to go back to what you were before, that level.
Yeah.
And it's not there, that lever is not there to pull, that button isn't there to push anymore. And do you recognize it? Are you able to pull back? Are you able to ask for help? Like, how do you handle that in that scenario?
I still struggle with asking for help, you know, and that's all you hear, you know, here's this number, call this number. I have found that journaling seems to get it out of me. I finally started doing it in questions, you know, like 1 through 5, you know, what are you grateful for? What do you know, whatever those little mental things are that can help you break out. It's just how you choose to get up in the morning. And I'm trying to choose to get up, you know, with full force instead of hating the day, you know?
Yeah.
And trying to be as grateful as I can that I am even still here, you know, and that I will be able to see these things going forward in my life. And
Well, we're grateful that you're here, and
Very.
you know, talking about the day to day, like that was big in, you know, I talked about this in an earlier episode, like my sobriety is you have to take it day to day.
yeah,
It's not always going to be a day to day thing. Eventually, it might become a week to week or month to month, but in the beginning, it's almost moment by moment. And you have, you know, just be kind to yourself, give yourself grace when you do,
and
you know, fall, because it's going to happen. We're all human.
yeah, it's easy to hate yourself, and it's hard not to. Some, you know,
Ooh,
it's a
that's
huge.
real. The negative is always louder. It's always the first to grab hold. Do you know you're doing like an amazing job? Has anyone told you like how you're handling this? How detrimental all of this information is to your health, and you're taking it one day at a time, and you can't go to a fucking neurologist until September. Like,
Right.
Are you kidding me? Like,
Yeah.
like, you're handling it really well. I don't know if someone has told you that.
I don't know. I don't know if I've heard that or not, but you know, I'm
It's true.
Well, I'm telling you.
I'm trying. You know, you try to feel that way. You know, we all look in the mirror and we see what we want to see, and you want to try to see that that's a good person that you're looking at. You don't see that young kid that was pushed to the side.
I have to say that I think I've realized now why, Chris, you and I get along so well is you remind me so much of my best friend. And I think that is one of the big things that draws me to you as a person is there's a lot of similarities, but you're a great person. I've always enjoyed our conversations, even when they go on a loop-de-loop that you don't know where it's going to stop. That's fine.
That's your fault.
We enable each other on the energy drinks, whatever, it's fine. But as Michelle said, I'm proud of you. You are doing a great job. I don't know what it's like to go through this because I haven't been through it, but you know, you have a great support team behind you. You know, getting to like knowing your wife and your daughter, they're great people, and I know that they support you. I haven't gotten to meet your sons or your grandson, but I'm sure they're equally as great.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So you are doing a great job, and I see you as an amazing person. FYI.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
How are you? This is something that helps me with all my mental health daily issues.
Mhm.
How are you being kind to yourself every day?
Being kind is doing something for myself, which is, I guess, working out, getting out of bed.
You're hiking again, right?
Oh, yeah. And I haven't been much because of the rain and all, but yeah, that or I'll take the dog for a walk because he loves loves a good walk. But you know, that's really, I think for me, is really some of the best therapy is just, and that's also when I know I'm getting depressed, when hiking has no interest for me at all. And then, but eventually I always go back to it because there's just nothing better than just the sweat and the pain that you're feeling as you're going through it, you know?
Yeah.
Because you're alive.
Yes. That's why I'm getting a tattoo, for the pain, to help that go. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, it seems the pain of it, and it's not really so much the pain, but I don't know what it is about. It's a therapeutic pain, I guess, getting a
It is.
tattoo.
You need to feel it somehow, right? You got to get it
Yeah.
out somehow.
Yeah.
And a lot of people do that in different ways. Some people do that in unhealthy ways. And, you know, but getting a tattoo, I think, you know, it's something that means something to you. And I think that's a healthy way to go about it. And that's, I think, what you're trying to grasp for at this point is, as you know, as many healthy outlets as you can possibly get. You know, every day is a gift. Something that has really helped me, and I don't know if you've thought about, is that progress is not a straight line.
Mm-hmm.
And health is so weird. The body is so fucking weird, dude. Like, it really is.
What would you say to someone that's going through a health scare? I know you're still in it.
Really, you know, here I go telling people what to do that I don't do, but to just
We're
really
not professionals. None of us
Yeah,
are professionals.
right.
We are
But
just people in life living it.
just do your best to know the people around you are really wanting to help you, not to stay away from you, and don't reject them. Try your best. Oh, and I should talk more, you know, and when you don't talk and you don't say, and it always takes me a day or two to say, okay, this is why I've been kind of the way I've been.
Do you think that's why journaling helps so much? Because you're actually like putting your words out there.
And even though I go back, I really don't go back usually to read any of my stuff. But as I'm writing, I'm like, I don't even know what I just wrote. I can't read it.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter. You're getting it out. And it's taken me a long time to realize that. And I've been keeping this journal. I bought a black binder. Anyway, since 2022, I've been keeping this. I don't write in it, and I wasn't writing in it every day.
This is just another comparison question, and also just a lighthearted question. Do you buy lots of journals to keep around the house?
Well, I have no idea. I have no idea what you're talking about. I would probably, I will go through. So embarrassing.
We do it too.
This
I've
is the one.
one. I have 4 journals in front of me, and I have an electronic one over here and another one on the floor. So don't worry about it.
This is the one I've been most faithful with, because it's, like I said, since 2022.
I was impressed when you said that, by the way.
Yes.
Me too.
But I would say I probably have 3 others around somewhere.
Oh, that's nothing.
You're
still saying it's okay. You're not.
Yeah. I mean, I think I have the most important
Amateur.
one. You know, my wife got me a little journal book, and it has a baby on the front and a baby on the back, and the baby on the front's got a smiley face, and the baby on the back's got a frowny face crying. And so I journaled that when my kids were born, because for 6 years I was a stay-at-home parent with my 3 kids, all in elementary school, while my wife had to work traveling.
You give her really good advice and accept help when it comes. Who helps you?
My wife, when I ask, and my therapist. Going to work here lately is helpful. My wife is out of town, and my biggest, people are afraid of dying by drowning or dying by fire. I'm afraid of dying by silence, because that's where I'm at
Ooh.
for the next, you know what I mean? And it just, and that all stems, of course, back to, losing your parent. And that's very hard for me. Like, I want to have music on right now, but I can't, because I figure that would interfere with things. Yeah, but the one passion that I do have that I don't get to do anymore, no offense, Whitney, but you can understand, but being in the role that I'm in, you're just constantly performing at work, and I get home at 7 or 8 o'clock at night, and you're with your wife for maybe an hour, because we all have to go to bed because we're getting up early, and I just don't have time to create food,
Yeah.
and that is, that's really hard. I'm creating food at work, but I have to create it the way they tell me to create it.
Exactly.
I can't create. I can do whatever I want at home, right? And it's nothing to say bad at work. It's just
No, that's what you get paid for. Like,
yeah. I'll do it.
I have felt that. I definitely have felt that, where I didn't want to come home and cook because I was cooking all day, or I was around it being cooked all day, or it had to be this way. And I was like, ugh, just give me some popcorn and a pint of ice cream.
My wife will text me at 5:30, 6 o'clock, and she goes, okay, it's that time of day again. And I'm like, I know what she's talking about.
I love your wife.
What are we going to have for
she's
dinner? So, yes, she is amazing, and she is stronger than any woman that has been in my life.
I've reached out to her for advice on stuff too.
I have 2 questions that I'm trying to hold on to. We said in the beginning of this that you are now hiking without headphones. And then you said just now that being home, you usually have the music on, and it's very hard to like be in the quiet. I've done that to myself my whole life. I've inundated myself with music, audiobooks, reading articles, videos, to actually just sit in the silence. Like, I have to actually plan that. So I'm glad that you're doing that on your own for walking and everything. Any realizations that you can share while you've been sitting in the silence?
Honestly, when I'm hiking, I'm trying to be good to myself, is what I keep saying.
Oh, that's good.
So you start low, and I try to just stop the voice, I guess. And when I get off the trail, it's supposed to be gone by then. And sometimes it's easy to do, and you can get through your evening or your day, and you're done. You sweated it out. You've got the pain in your feet to prove it.
Well, now I have another random question. What kind of shoes do you wear when you're hiking? Because I want to try to get into hiking.
I actually, Hokas. I wear Hokas.
Okay. All right.
And I believe the hiking running shoes are, they're called Speed Goats, I believe, but they're incredibly
I got the Hoka, like not the industrial, but like the professional line for like nurses and doctors and people that are on their feet all the time. And then I do the power steps, and I got that right before we went to Disney, and my feet have never felt so good on such a long. So Hokas for sure.
Really?
My daughter, she will buy a pair, then buy another pair, and
sponsor us.
Yes,
Right.
Hoka, you're worth it.
For hiking, how far do you usually go? Do you go, like you said, your feet hurt? Like, do you take breaks in between days? Like, how often do you go? How far do you go?
I will go every day, and it's usually, I'd say I do anywhere from 4 to 6 miles.
How long does that take?
It's about 2 hours.
Okay.
2.5, depending if I take any wilderness breaks, so to speak.
Right. So 2 hours, and you said daily.
Pretty much, yes.
Okay. So you have to be intentional with that time.
I try to.
Okay.
If I don't get to the hiking, I will work out.
How intentional you are with hiking. You were just earlier saying how you wish you could create with food. What does it look like to be intentional to create food for you if you were to do that?
It's very therapeutic.
Yeah.
relaxing. It was part of what I loved about my catering in Dallas. You go into a home and you totally take over their kitchen. You prepare all the food there, and you get to see the satisfaction of people going, "Oh my God, this is delicious," which is what we get at our school. Because it's not your typical cafeteria cheeseburger, Pepsi kind of stuff. Cooking is just the best outlet.
Yeah.
Like Whitney has her palette to paint. I have pots and pans to fill.
Is there something that you like to cook the most, or like a type of food, or like a genre?
I love, I make a damn good Parmesan chicken. I love to cook my grandmother Martinez's. It's a stew. She called it guiso. So that's where I kind of learned my love of food, was from both sets of grandparents.
Do you think there's a window to be intentional with your creative food?
So there was a gentleman at school that had a heart attack, and I was on the meal train email. So I looked up and there was no one bringing him food on July 6th. So I was already making food for my family, and it felt good to make those ribs and potato salad, and it was very comforting kind of food for him and his family. So that was an opportunity. So that was nice. So yeah, I'm trying to get into that on the weekends.
Two things real quick that you just reminded me of. One is, I don't know about you, I had to get a medical journal to keep up with all the medicines, all the doctors, all the appointments. How are you keeping things organized?
I don't. I have a white folder that's all my medical stuff. Because I kept forgetting what doctor I called,
Yes.
who's going to be calling me back, who's got me on hold in case someone cancels,
Taking responsibility and accountability for your health to get better. That in itself is a full-time job that I don't think people realize. There's different dynamics. Like, we're women, you are a man. And at least I'm assuming, crap.
Hold on, I'll check. All good.
I'm an asshole. Okay. No, but as a man, do you think that going through health issues and being in this place that you are in your life right now, do you think that also plays like an extra role that maybe Whitney and I wouldn't recognize or know about?
Well, yeah, because men are supposed to be the hero, right? I mean,
Right.
And you're not supposed to ask for help. So yeah, that's part of the stigma, which I guess was holding me back all these years from seeking the therapy, thinking that I can just get through this. Like, I'm trying to say I can do that now, and I'm like, I haven't seen my therapist, and I'm just being a butthole for not going. And I remember as a kid, I don't want to get too deep with this, and I really don't mean to.
We love doing that. But go ahead.
It's just a part that can happen to people, and it happened to me. I remember after my mom passed away, I did something to piss my father off, and I played tennis. And there was a tennis racket sitting there, and my dad just picked it up and whacked me across the face with it, And of course, I start to bawl, and he pulls me in front of the stand-up mirror and tells me to look at that. Why are you crying? You're such a baby for crying. What is your problem? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so that's where it kind of stems from, I guess, for me, was to shut the fuck up and
Suck it up.
yeah,
This
happened, go on,
Your feelings don't matter.
No, be a man.
And I feel like that's just been my case the whole way through.
That was incredibly powerful what you just shared. Really resonated with it. And I think for people, anybody in health scares, like taking that on and how complicated that is on top of the feelings that you just shared, it's really powerful. And I'm so grateful that you're with us today and on this podcast and sharing your story today.
Yeah, well, thank you. It's been awesome, actually. Pretty cool.
Good. Yeah, I That was heavy, man. That was good. That was good. I love that you went that in that deep. Is there anything that we haven't touched on that you wanted to share about your story?
We've been talking about this, how you feel like you don't matter. You're just the person that shows up. You're the person that drives, or you know what I mean? So being out, and in fact, I just found a folder in my office, all of these, all of the notes that you brought to the hospital, Whitney, from the school, of all these kids taking their time to say they miss me. You never think that anyone really cares about what you do. We just put food out. I just come in, I say good morning, I make your coffee, I take your trash out, you know what I mean? And you're just that person. You just show up and do your job. But for me to feel the gratitude from the school was absolutely amazing. And then it made me feel like, well, I guess they do care, It's not.
They cared a lot.
Yeah. And
What
finding.
did they do exactly? Because that was another one of my questions. Like going back to work, like what did you experience?
Just the warmth and the love from the school. I mean, I had one of the mother networks, moms of the school, sent me this huge bouquet of flowers. I mean, it was just like the most gorgeous thing you'd send to your wife or something, not to some guy from the kitchen. But they did, and it was just, and that really warmed my heart to see that. And then to come across the notes again this week, actually it was yesterday, really brought back that feeling of being part of a community. So like one of the notes, I took a photo of it, and it said, we miss you. We hope you get to feeling better, but not too good. We hope you get to feeling good, but not too good. I was like, only from a child, so cute. But they mean well. But it was just the cutest thing. It was
just the way it comes out. Yeah, kids say the darndest things.
Yes.
They sure do.
You talked a lot about like how you grew up and how you held things in and how poisonous that is to not say anything. And I would bet that if someone was in front of you with your situation, you would totally have like advice for them. Like maybe it was your wife who was going through this, like if the situation were switched, or maybe one of your kids. What would you tell them in this moment?
To just communicate. That's really where it comes down to. And that was where my problem was in the past, was just to hold on to that anger or what it was that was bothering me. And then now, and it's hard sometimes to say it, but yet I have to tell my wife, it's not you, it's me. So all those years before, she thought it was her. And now I'm trying to help her break that habit of her thinking it's her that's caused me to be upset or whatever. And sometimes I just can't say it. It's me, it's not you. But yet, again, every situation kind of puts me in that situation, like it may take me half a day but I have to get it out.
Yeah.
And again, easier said than done sometimes, but that's my focus. And I've been doing pretty good at it, other than this past 2 weeks have been kind of complicated for me. So
Progress is not a straight line.
No.
It sure isn't.
Yeah. And I would also, in the spirit of what you just said, it's important to stay positive, right? Be grateful for every day. That's incredibly important. But I would argue it's just as important to talk about the dark side too.
Yeah. I know someone going through, my son is going through a situation, and mentally, and I say, look, I give him my whole story. And I said, if it weren't for this, if it weren't for that, I don't know if I'd be here. I don't know what it would look like. so here's what I've done, and this is what you need to do. And yet, I give him the dark stories, and sometimes, hopefully he'll take it at some point. But you just have to tell the ugly and hope that they'll see what has happened and what can come from talking and getting it out.
I think we are not our thoughts. I think like even like the super happy thoughts and then like the super dark thoughts, it's acknowledging the thoughts first that they're even there, use
Yes.
language behind it, and then okay, this is how I'm going to move forward. I think is what's important. Instead of, I tend to, and it sounds like you were raised to stuff down the negative. Don't look at it. Don't even acknowledge it. I think that's why you've gravitated toward music. If I was a betting woman.
Yeah, it was like when my mom passed away. It's like, she's dead. She's in the ground. You need to go back to school. You need to grow up. Just get through it. And that, I wish it would have been handled differently. I think maybe I wouldn't be here, perhaps. I don't know. I can't predict it, but that's just another key. I'm sorry she's gone. Here, I'm going to get married 2 years later, or maybe not even. And then I got to get adjusted to a family of 5 that I don't know from Adam. And they were a totally different, very religious Catholic upbringing. And I'm Catholic, but yet we don't, we're not all private school. And I went to public school. I didn't do the private thing, and not being kicked out when you're, what was I, 14, 15 years old, because you tell your stepmother to fuck off. And, my dad had the rule, one
and done.
One and done, and so, but then again, I feel like that almost helped me grow up as a person to know what work and life, anyway. That's another story of shit.
That's so true. And I think looking back at like all the issues where like for me personally, and I don't know if you can attest to this, but all of that happened to me fueled me to like show up in that moment and go above and beyond. And I channeled fight or flight, and that served me and that made me successful in that moment. But that isn't sustainable.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm trying to figure out my dance now. How do I still show up to that level? So like, where do I pull that from? And from a place of calm versus a place of panic and chaos.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I'm struggling with. I don't know if you feel the same way, if you're struggling with something similar or different.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get out of my head.
Well, I hope you're being kind to yourself as you try to do that. Because my idea, I don't know about you, because since we're so alike, my idea of organization is let me stack 5 things on my calendar before noon. And then that way I can relax the rest of the day. But then only like 1.5 gets done. So then I'm hard on myself. So I hope you are in this time being absolutely as kind to yourself as you possibly can be. And I can't stress enough how important that is.
Yes, that's, again, it's a struggle, but yes,
it is.
As they say, one day at a time. I think by doing this has been a good release.
Perfect time to get into a high low in Buffalo.
I know.
High, being on the podcast. Mm-hmm. My low for the week has nothing to do with the podcast, but my wife leaving for a week or so. And I guess the Buffalo was also getting the text from you saying, how about this week? And I'm like, oh, shit. She's been saying it, but she's never sent me a text that says this. And I'm like,
it's real so now.
That's been kind of like, oh my God, it's nothing at all. Like
why did I say yes? I know.
But then it was one of those building blocks to get me. Oddly enough, it's helped. I already feel, just talking here with Michelle, I've never met you before. I know Whitney, and it's even hard to open up to Whitney because she was once my
Right.
boss, and you don't reveal.
We're on the
stuff like
same
that
level
to you.
now.
Yeah.
We're good.
Again, doing this has really been helpful, it seems. Because I think some of the stuff I've talked about, I've been holding in for the last month or so, but or even longer, but I just let it creep back in. So
Don't wait a month to go back to your therapist.
When are you going back?
Just because you talked to it. Yeah. Just because you talked to us.
I'll get there.
Yeah, you will. And
Yeah.
just because maybe you wake up tomorrow and you feel like 100% and you do all the things, or you wake up tomorrow and you feel like I can't do shit today, I'm going back to bed. Either way, neither is more noble than the other one. Like you were still showing up, whether you're happy with how you're showing up or not, you're still here, you're still showing up, and you showed up in a big way today.
Because that's what we want, is we want this to be the hard conversations that people need to hear.
Yeah.
To know that they're not alone in their journey.
Yeah, I guess that's why I did it as well, for other people to kind of, even for another guy to hear it, And
as our first guy on our show, thank you.
Yes.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome.
This was so amazing. I'm glad
thank you, Chris, for your vulnerability with us and your candor and just telling us your story.
All right. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks. It was very therapeutic for me. So there you go.
Of course.
At no charge.
Well,
what music are you gonna play first when you get off of here? What's the first thing you're gonna play when you get off?
Probably gonna put on some Mac Miller.
I like it. It.
Yeah.
Nice.
So are you a My Morning Jacket fan?
I haven't listened to them in forever, but yeah, no, I've all the indie.
It's good stuff.
Yeah, I want to listen to My Morning Jacket because I haven't heard it in so long. So that's what I'm
good
gonna
for the
do.
soul. Good for the soul. Okay. I'll get back to smoking pot and trying to do work.
Yeah, you're my kind of guy. Chris, thank you so much again.
Bye. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Chris. Bye, Chris.
Bye. Bye.
Thank you for listening to Use Your Fear podcast. Oh, great.
You can watch full episodes on YouTube, listen on all major podcast platforms, and support us on Patreon for additional cutting room floor footage. Follow us on all social media and visit our website at useyourfear.com to connect. Or if you've got a fear story to share, we'd love to hear from you. Please share and support so we can continue to have these meaningful conversations so others know they aren't alone.
Have a great day. Have a great day. Bye. Bye.